Hello and welcome back. I'm Tia Turnbull. Now I'm going to teach you some listening skills. These are really great. Okay, so the first one is the 3 levels of listening. And the first level of listening, and actually I got this from the Coaches Training Institute in San Rafael. So the first level of listening on level 1, that's where when you're talking and I'm listening, I'm over here in my head. And I'm listening to all the things that I'm thinking about when you're talking. So instead of having my energy and attention over there on you, I'm paying attention to what you're saying brings up for me in my head. I'm hearing all what's happening in my head. So that's level 1. Level 2 is when I'm taking and focusing my energy and attention just on you. I'm not, if a thought comes up for me, I immediately come back. It's kind of like a meditation, where you're just paying attention to one thing, and if a thought comes up, you just bring your attention back on the person. So in level 2, I'm completely listening to you. I'm not paying attention to the thoughts in my own head. I'm just over there with you. And level 3 is where I'm listening to everything. I'm listening to you. I'm aware that there's thoughts going on in my own head. And then I'm aware that there are noises and things happening in the environment. Like earlier, there was a dog that barked, but since I was focused here, I didn't pay attention to it. But if I hear it now, when I'm in level 3, I'll notice that my attention gets pulled for a second and comes back. When I'm in level 3, I'll notice when I'm focusing on you, that I might have a thought in my head, my attention gets pulled, and then I bring it back. So I'm aware of things around me, I'm aware of you, I'm aware of the thoughts in my head. And in level 3, what happens is there's this awareness that happens where if there's a noise that distracts us, we acknowledge it and come back. So we don't get distracted by the noises, but we also don't ignore them. So we are aware of what's happening around us and in the conversation, which is actually really great for a conversation, because instead of my attention going over here and then me missing something you say but not saying anything about missing it, I say, wait, hold on, I'm sorry, that car crash that happened 10 feet away distracted me and I missed something you said. So could you repeat that last part of your sentence, please? So that's actually the best thing to do, because if my attention gets pulled, I want to acknowledge it so I can make sure to have you repeat what it is you said. Or if a thought in my head comes up and that blocks out, because I can only pay attention to one thing at a time, either that or this or you. So if a thought in my head pulls me away for a second, I'm going to maybe miss a couple or a few words of what you said. So I'm going to want to go back and say, hold on, I'm sorry, I distracted for a second. I didn't hear the last word that you said. That way you're aware that I'm completely listening to you. I'm not just pretending to listen to you. Okay, so that's level 1, 2, and 3. Level 1 is pay attention to thoughts in my head. Level 2 is paying attention to you. And level 3 is paying attention to everything. All right, that's the first listening skill that you can learn. And you can play with that, noticing where your attention is going. Is it here? Is it here? Is it there? Where is my attention right now? Okay. Okay, now the second listening skill is the 6 ways of listening that don't work, and the one best way to truly, truly honor and hold up and give someone a pure and real attention. And it's actually what kids do. That's why they download, because they're so open to hearing. They download information. When you're really, really open, it comes in. And so, okay. First, I'm going to tell you the 6 ways not to listen. All right. And it actually is the acronym LISTEN. L-I-S-T-E-N. So the L stands for let me fix you. So if someone's talking and you just want to fix them and correct them and take care of all their problems for them, you should do this, you should do that. So that's the first way. Okay. The second way, the I, is ignore. And we've talked about ignore in the WIPT. So ignoring what they're saying is the second way. The third way is to be a salesperson. What the salesperson does is shakes their head, So it looks like they're listening, but really what they're doing is they're over in their own head thinking about what they're going to say next as soon as you're done. All they hear from over there is da 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 da, but in their own mind, they're constructing what they're going to say while you're talking instead of listening to what you're saying. They're doing this, but they're not really with you. Okay. The next one, the T, is a therapist. And the therapist, what they do is ask really super long questions and take up all your speaking time. So they're not really listening to you. What they're saying is something like, well, I heard you say that back in 1965, you were thinking about the possibility of, so they go on and on and on and on and never really get back to you so you can finish what it is you're saying. Okay. And then the E is everything is about me. So that's like level 1 in the listening. Everything is about me. So if you start talking, I think of something in my head, I interrupt you and start talking about me. Like you say, today we went to lunch and I had a hamburger. And I immediately say, oh, I love hamburgers. I like them with pickles and lettuce and I always put, ketchup or whatever. So I go into my story and interrupt your story, and that's not a good listener. And the sixth way is no energy, boredom, just kind of like not giving any kind of indication that I'm with you at all. I'm just don't really care. I'm not saying anything. I'm not acknowledging. I'm not, I'm not repeating nothing. I'm just not with you, really. I'm just no energy, no boredom. Okay, so that's the 6 ways to not listen to someone. You can go back and hear that again if you want to get it down. That's the 6 ways to not listen. The one way that's the best way to listen to someone is called the curious fool. And what the curious fool does is they get curious. They're listening to your story. They're like, really? What else? And they don't interrupt it, but they do add energy. They say little things like, oh, a bicycle? Oh, and a floor mat? And a basketball? When you say it, they let you know that they're with you. They're really listening, but they don't do it for a long time, just enough to keep you going. Now I have another clue. When you really want to let someone know you're listening and you really want to be with them and lift them and have a really good relationship with someone, what you can do is, first of all, play curious fool. Like, get curious about their life. Like, ask them questions about their life, and then let them lead you. So instead of you leading them, I call it following the spark. And following the spark is to look for where their energy is. Watch their eyes. And when they get excited about something, ask them about that. Like if they say, yeah, I really like bicycling, and the other day I went to the mall. Well, which one? They said they really like bicycling, and the other day they went to the mall. But they didn't say, I really like bicycling. The other day I went to the mall. They said, I really like bicycling, and the other day I went to the mall. So obviously the spark was in the mall when they said the mall. So you go, the mall? You follow where the spark is, and they go, yeah. And we went over to the pretzel place, and I got some new shoes, and these shoes are awesome. And they go, really? Your shoes are awesome? You just stay with them, but you're not smart. You don't have any answers for them. You don't ask really long questions. You just stay with them. You stay curious. And you say quick, short things to take them further down into their story. And I bet you anything that when you do that with someone, they will go further into their story than they've ever gone with anybody else before. They will feel so heard. They will feel so cherished. They will feel so loved, and they'll be so excited about what they just shared with you. And they'll probably say some things they've never said before and come up with some new ideas and come up with some new places that they've gone. And you can ask questions like, what it smell like? What it look like? What it feel like? Not obviously like that fast, but when it's appropriate, to have them flush out that story even more and have fun with this. So follow the spark and be a curious fool. And let me know how it goes. Write to me. Write on my Facebook page. Send me a message. Say, hey, I use the curious fool and the spark. And the spark in my relationship is so much better than it's ever been. So tell me how it goes. All right, and if you have any questions, let me know. Thanks for being with me. Till next time.